Hey everybody, it's Lavender Town, and today I'm going to try to make some art with this marker set. Chameleon Kidz sponsored this video, and they're the maker of the Blendy pen, and they basically sent me a full kit of Blendy pens. It came with, of course, the pens, as well as a whole bunch of coloring sheets that have little sneaky hidden details in them when you color them in. It also has an airbrush where you can put any of the markers into the end and then blow on the tip and it will create an airbrush effect. Lastly, it came with some stencils that you can use to rein in the airbrush a little bit. And it all fits inside this little portfolio that you can color the outside of, and it keeps all of your stuff sort of together and organized. But before I can start using the markers, I have to have something to color in, so I'm starting off by just drawing a rough draft of what I want to draw. I want to do a little witch character, as I often love to do, and I decided the theme for this one was going to be rainbows and clouds. So I wanted there to be a lot of like water and aquatic stuff because of course rainbows come from water being in the air. So her broom actually has a wriggling octopus at the end of it. She also has cloud-like hair. I wanted to definitely have a lot of gray and desaturated colors in parts of her so that other parts could be fully rainbow and it would look really dramatic. I'm inking in now, and you can see I'm using my light table just so I can see the sketch underneath. I really like doing this so that I don't have to erase the pencil underneath. You can just ink right onto a new sheet of paper. And I'm also using marker paper so that the markers take to the paper really well when I'm ready to actually color it in. So on my first pass of the inking, I'm basically just using a pretty thin pen to ink over everything and just have a relatively stable line weight except for by the eyes, and I just knew that I was going to go back over it with a thicker pen and add a little more personality into some of these lines. Sometimes I go in with a thick pen at the start. It kind of just depends on what I'm in the mood for. If you have trouble monitoring your own line weight, I would say use a thinner pen because it will kind of force you to monitor it and keep it stable, and then you can always add in more interesting like thick and thin lines afterwards if you'd like. So I'm basically just giving her a really cute little outfit. She has a big bow and these melty rainbow tights. Obviously they're not rainbow yet, but you'll see them in a minute. It's getting very colorful. And then I turned off the light box so I could really see how the inking was turning out. I went over it, like I said, with a bigger marker, pen, and just cleaned up some of the lines and made them a little darker and more intense around the outline so that the inking just ends up looking really bold and nice. So now that I actually have something I can color in, I can move on to start trying out these new markers. So basically the way they work is you choose two different colors and then you both snap them into this clear little fusion chamber, they call it, and you twist them, which makes them touch, and you just hold them there like that with the dark color on the top, and the lighter color will take on the dark color's ink for a little while, and that will be how you get your gradient effect. So as you can see, it has the dark blue coming out first, and then gradually it's returning back to its original light blue, and then you have a gradient just sort of on the fly. Like, you don't have to worry about blending two markers together because they're already blended together. So that was really interesting for me. I've never ever used a marker that changes color while I'm using it. And I tried it out with some others. I didn't hold this one for long enough, as you can see, so it didn't really change color at all. But when I held it for a little bit longer, it worked perfectly. So it really depends on how long, what kind of area you want to fill up. If you have a really small area that you want a gradient on, I'd recommend just barely touching them together really quickly. If you have a lot of space that you want a gradient effect on, you should hold them together for the recommended 5 seconds that they have on the box. That will give you a really strong gradient. So for my little character, I wanted her to be a contrast of grays and blacks with rainbow colors. So I'm starting in with the gray, and I blended together a purple and a gray so that I could have a more interesting looking gray and have this nice sort of cool shading on the gray bow. And then I'm going in for a blue to light blue gradient. It's this nice aqua color blended in with the royal kind of blue. And as you can see, it just made a gradient like right away. And then I did a dark purple to a lilac. That one worked perfectly as well. The peach one, I didn't hold for long enough either, so I went back in with a bit more of the red tipped onto the peach, and then it worked perfectly again. It's something that didn't take too long to get a feel for. As you can see, most of them I'm having an easier time doing now that I've tried it out a couple different times. It really just depends on you eyeballing how much you're going to need. Like if it's a longer strand of her hair, I just need to hold it together a little bit longer than I would for the smaller areas. So the set comes with 24 different markers, which you can blend into 276 different color combinations. And if you guys want this set, I'm going to leave a link to their website, ChameleonKidz.com, as well as just some like different stores that you can probably get it at. Also, even if you don't have these markers, you can go on their website and they have like downloadable art lessons and posters that you can color in just with whatever markers you happen to have. So feel free to check that out if you're interested. Oh, and it should be obvious, but I also sometimes use these just straight as they come without blending them at all, and they work fine for that as well. Another note about these is that they don't seem to smudge. I was trying to keep my hand off them when I was first starting to use them, like I always do with a new art supply, but they dry very quickly, so I didn't have any problems with the colors smudging onto my hand. You can see on the octopus broom that I am using some oranges, reds, and yellows, and then I did the tips of the tentacles green, so I just took that same yellow marker and touched it together with the green one, and it was really quite easy. I'm kind of turning everything rainbow gradient now because I've completely lost control of myself, and I'm just like blending everything, which was really quite fun. And then I wanted to use the airbrush too because I just really thought that that would be, I don't know, I was so tickled by this blow airbrush thing. I thought it was really neat. So I did a yellow and orange starry airbrush blend. And with that, I was basically finished. I really like how this one turned out. It took me a second to figure out how these are meant to be used, but pretty quickly I got the hang of it, and by the end of it, I was just like wildly snapping them and unsnapping them together, like trying to make as many combinations as I could. Thank you so much to Chameleon Kidz for sponsoring this video and sending me this kit. I had a lot of fun with it. And there's going to be sort of a contest thing where you guys just share your art that you create with me using the hashtag #ArtForLT, and you can get the chance to win a shout out on my PopJam account. My username on PopJam is the same as on YouTube, just Lavender Town. So if that's something you want to do, or you just want me to see your art, please feel free to share it with me. I love seeing your guys' work. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching me do some traditional art for once. I know it's been forever since I've drawn outside of the computer. I hope I wasn't too rusty. And yeah, thanks for staying all the way to the end, and I will see you next week. Big thank you to all of my patrons, including Blick, Gaia Muscale, Scott Peterson, Weeb, Miss Misu, BB Dave, Kato Cat, Christy Stewart, Payne Amel, Elizabeth Albin, Cal Pompone, Shiori, The Artsy Moose, Lena Christine, DeSweet12, Aaron Sawicki, Super Pixel, Taka, Isabel Spooky, Lovely, Lachlan MD, Mystic, Enzo Jobert, Ya Boy ST, JJ Jade, Blah 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 Blah, and Addy Visual. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you would like to become a patron and check out all the Patreon rewards, you can click the link in the end card or in the description box. Thank you again.